Yogis are practicing Vipassana meditation according to the teaching of Mahāsatipatthāna Sutta. Kāye kāyanupasi viharati attapi sampajano satima vinaya loke beja domanasa. A meditator dwells contemplating the body in the body. You practice the foundations of mindfulness on the body, being ardent, making true effort, being mindful and being thoroughly aware of the object, and having concentration and clear comprehension. So how many components do we now have? Atapi, ardent is one component. Sampajano, clearly comprehending, is another component. Samadhi, concentration, is yet another. And satima, mindfulness, another. So we have 4 mental states here. These 4 mental states are the components of the practice. When we practice, there must be these 4 mental states working together harmoniously. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, and Pinya. You remember? So there is one more mental state which is not mentioned here. That is faith or confidence. Saddha. Confidence or faith is also an important factor, because if we do not have confidence in this practice, we would not practice. We do not really have blind faith, but we have faith and confidence in the Buddha and his teaching. We believe that just by paying attention to these objects, by observing every phenomena occurring at the 6 senses, we will be able to see the true nature of mind and matter, the impermanent nature, suffering nature, and non-self nature. So we should have that much confidence, because without confidence, no work can be successful. Saddha is like a hand. If you have strong saddha, your hands are very strong, and you can get whatever you want. If your saddha faith is not very strong, your hand is weak, and you cannot pick up, you cannot take whatever you want. So confidence, saddha, is also a part of the practice of meditation. And although it is not actively operating at the moment of meditation or practice of mindfulness, faith is stays there working harmoniously with the other factors. So altogether we get 5 factors: Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, and Pinya. Faith, ardent energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. In Pali, they are called Indriyas, mental faculties. Meditation teachers are encouraging to increase the 5 factors. These 5 factors must be working simultaneously and harmoniously with each other if we are to have a good practice of meditation. In the beginning, we may be lacking in clear comprehension, but later, when our concentration develops, we will be able to see mind and matter clearly and so on. And these five components will be working in harmony. What happens if five faculties do not work in harmony? We are lost. When we are practicing, especially important is the balance of effort and concentration, viriya and samadhi. If they are not balanced, if there is an excess of one or the other, we are lost. Our meditation is nothing. The effort we make must be just enough, not too much and not too little. Sometimes we tend to make too much effort because we want to achieve something. We become a little greedy and so we make more effort. When we make more effort, we become restless, we become agitated. And then we lose concentration. So too much effort will not work. What happens if there is too little effort? We become sleepy, lazy, and we cannot concentrate and cannot practice either. So the effort we make must be neither too much nor too little. When there is excess of effort, there is not enough of concentration. Among effort and concentration, when one goes up, the other goes down. Too much effort and concentration will go down. When you make too little effort, again concentration goes down. Concentration also must not be too much. When we have too much concentration, we tend to become lazy. We tend to take it easy, or we tend to slacken our effort. Suppose we are practicing and we have good concentration. When we have good concentration, we do not have to make much effort, and so we tend to slacken the effort. When we slacken our effort, the degree of effort goes down and we become lazy or sleepy. In that case, we have to step up our effort by making more effort and paying close attention, and sometimes by adding some more objects to note, like 3 or more objects in succession at a time. So the effort and concentration must be balanced so that we have good meditation and clear comprehension. Sometimes say we are practicing and we have good concentration, and all of a sudden we lose concentration. Probably we have made more effort than is needed. We want to make it better, and so we make more effort, and the result is the opposite of what we want. Sometimes you are practicing meditation, your concentration is good, and even though your concentration is good, you tend to go sleepy or nodding. That means you have too much concentration. If there is too much concentration, you have to make the level of concentration go down by stepping up effort, by taking more objects at a time, and so on. So meditation is not easy. It is very delicate. Just a little bit of unbalanced mental state can destroy the concentration you have built up with great effort. So these 5 mental states should be working harmoniously, and also they should be working in harmony. Meditation practice is like a machine. There are many parts in a machine, and each part must work properly. If one part does not work properly, the whole machine goes out of control. In the same way, if any one of the factors does not work properly, the whole work of meditation is thrown out of balance. So each one of these 5 mental factors must be working properly and harmoniously with other factors. Here comes the value of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a regulating mental factors, so it helps to keep effort from becoming too much. It helps concentration from becoming too much, and so on. So the mindfulness factors is a regulating factors among these 5 components in our practice of meditation. That is why it is said that mindfulness is always needed. There can be no excess of mindfulness. Mindfulness is needed everywhere, like the salt in all dishes, and like a prime minister who does all the work of a king. So mindfulness is a very important factor in these 5 factors, but every factor is important, and each one of them must be working in harmony and in balance with the other factors. When the 5 mental factors, mental faculties, Sutta, faith in the practice, ardent energy, atapi, satima, mindfulness, concentration, and samadhana, clear comprehension or wisdom. These 5 are working in balance, and you are clearly comprehending. Then what is the result? The result is Vinaya Loke Abhijja Dominasa. You overcome Abhijja and Dominasa, covetousness and greed, or desire and discontent in the world. That is the result you get from clearly comprehending in the practice of mindfulness. Now here, most English translation miss the point. Vinaya Loke Bija Domanasa. They translate it as having overcome desire and discontent, or having abandoned or having removed desire and discontent in the world. Be careful. What is the practice for? What is this mindfulness practice for? It is for overcoming desire and discontent. Abhijja, covetousness or desire means attachment, and domanasa, grief means ill will or anger. So Vipassana or Satipatthāna meditation is for overcoming desire and discontent, or covetousness and greed. If you have already overcome desire and discontent, you do not need to practice. For this very purpose, we are practicing mindfulness. But if we have already achieved this purpose, we do not need to practice mindfulness. So here we should translate it as overcoming or removing desire and discontent in the world, and not having overcome. That means yogi overcome desire and discontent as you practice mindfulness. So we want you to be aware of this translation. Here, an explanation with reference to Pali grammatical construction would be helpful, but since it would be too involved, we have no choice but to ignore it. Every evening you have been reciting Atapi Samajano Satima Vinaya Loke Beja Dominasam. Vinaya Loke Beja Dominasam. Overcoming desire and discontent in the world means avoiding craving or attachment or anger or ill will concerning the object you are observing. Loke in the world means in the worlds of body, in the worlds of feeling, in the worlds of consciousness, in the worlds of Dhamma concerning that object. We see one object and we can be attached to that object. If we come to the conclusion that it is beautiful or it is good, we will be attached to it. And we can have anger or hatred, etc. towards that object if we decided it was ugly or disgusting. So these mental defilements, kilesa, can come into our minds when we experience something. In order to prevent them from arising, we need to make some protection, and that protection is mindfulness. When we are mindful, mental defilements will not get a chance to get into our minds. When we are mindful, when we comprehend clearly, and when we see the objects clearly, we know that these objects come and go. These objects are impermanent, and so not to be attached to them. So we can avoid desire and discontent, attachment or grief or hatred regarding that object by the practice of mindfulness. Whether we say overcoming or removing or whatever, actually we are avoiding or we are preventing them from arising. Not that they have come and then we overcome them or we remove them after they have come. The meaning really is preventing desire and discontent from arising in our minds. If we do not practice mindfulness on the object, defilements will surely come. Either desire or grief or attachment or hatred These mental states can come, but by the practice of mindfulness, we can prevent defilements from coming. Preventing them from arising in our minds is what is meant by overcoming them. But if defilements have arisen, of course, we should make them the object of our attention to eliminate them. By practicing vipassana meditation diligently, finally, yogi become enlightened. When we talk about enlightenment, we say at the moment of enlightenment, mental defilements are eradicated. What mental defilements are eradicated at that moment? The present defilements or past defilements or future defilements. The past is already past. We do not have to do anything to get rid of them. The future defilements are not here yet, so you cannot do anything about them. What of the present defilements? If defilements are present, there can be no enlightenment. Because enlightenment is a wholesome state, and those mental defilements are unwholesome states. Wholesome state and unwholesome states cannot exist together. They do not coexist. So the mental defilements that are said to be eradicated at the moment of enlightenment are not of the past, not of the future, and not of the present. Then, what defilements are eradicated? Actually, strictly speaking, those defilements that are eradicated are not called kilesa in Pali. They are called latency or anusaya in Pali, which means the potential to arise. What the enlightenment consciousness eradicates is that potential. That means when something is always with us, we say we have that things. Take for example, smoking. Suppose you smoke, but right now you do not smoke. If I ask you, do you smoke? You will say, yes, I do. Because you smoked in the past, and you will smoke in the future, and you have not given up smoking. So although you are not smoking at this very moment, you say, yes, I smoke. In the same way, now right at this moment, we hope we have no defilements, we have no mental defilements in our mind, and you have no mental defilements in your mind. But after a few moments, you go out and you step on something sharp and someone push you intentionally and you get angry. And thus mental defilements comes when there are the conditions for them. So we say we have mental defilements. We have mental defilements You have and I have mental defilements, but not right at this moment. So that liability to arise is what is eradicated by enlightenment. The mental defilements that are said to be eradicated at the moment of enlightenment are actually nothing but the ability or liability to come up. When they come up, they are already there. In the same way here, Vinaya Loki Beja Domination, overcoming covetousness and greed means avoiding or preventing them from arising in our minds. How prevent? By the practice of mindfulness. You make effort, you apply mindfulness, you have concentration, you see mind and matter clearly. When you see mind and matter clearly, there is no chance for these mental defilements to come into your mind. In this way, vipassana or mindfulness practice remove your mental defilements. When you practice meditation, you can remove your mental defilements step by step. There are three kinds of removal of mental defilements: momentary removal, temporary removal, and total removal. Tinga Vinaya, Vikambana Vinaya, and Samocheta Vinaya. Momentary removal, this removal or overcoming is just momentary. Just by substitution, this moment, defilements will come back. It is of a very short duration. It is called abandonment by substitution. That means you abandon the unwholesome mental states by substituting them with the wholesome mental state. When there is a wholesome mental state, there cannot be any unwholesome mental state. You put wholesome mental state in the place, and so unwholesome mental state do not get a chance to arise. That is called abandonment by substitution. That will last for only a moment. The next moment, the defilements may come back. So at the moment of your vipassana, desire and discontent are removed in that way by substituting them with mindfulness and clear comprehension. So you get out of vipassana and you meet some condition for them to arise, and defilements will arise. So you need to practice more. And there is another kind of abandonment called temporary abandonment, or abandonment by pushing away. When you push something away, it may stay there for some time. It may not come back quickly, like plants in the water. If you push them away, they may stay away for some time. But then very slowly, they may come back. The kinds of removing or abandonment is called temporary abandonment, or removal by pushing away. That is achieved by jhanas. When you get jhana, when you experience jhana, you are able to push these mental defilements away for some time. When you practice diligently, you can see the mind and matter as impermanent, suffering, and non-self again and again. And then you reach the stage, what is called Sankarupika equanimity towards mind and matter. There is equanimity about formation. That means when you reach this stage, you do not have to make effort to be mindful of the object because you have been practicing diligently for long. Your mind is always on the object. So your mindfulness, as it were, comes to you automatically. So you are not concerned about mindfulness because you do not have to make effort. Mindfulness comes to you by itself. So that stage is called Sankarupika, equanimity towards mind and matter. Your mind is very calm during this stage. Your mind can stay in the middle. That means when you come across fearful object, you will not be afraid. And when you come across attractive object, you will not be attracted to that object. So your mind will be in the middle. Also, you do not have to make effort. Your mindfulness is always good and on the object. So that is removal temporary removal. Of course, if you practice more and more, finally you can remove mental defilements totally. So 3 kinds of removal, when you follow me: momentary removal, temporary removal, total removal. Momentary removal, temporary removal, total removal. So due to your practice, you can remove kilesa defilements momentarily, and then temporarily, finally, totally. That is, you become enlightened. So we will continue tomorrow. We have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the 6 doors, continuously and meticulously, may you remove defilements momentarily, may you remove defilements temporarily, may you remove mental defilements totally, may you realize real peace in the very near future.